No.
Alright.
Okay. Yes, I'm Jennifer Robinson, and I do know this is being recorded. This phone call to DCF for Natalie Keen Lathrop, Child Protective Investigator. It's being recorded by Jason Robinson. Today is January 13th at 12:48 p.m. And speakerphone. She answers.
This is Natalie.
Yes, this is Geneva Robinson. There was a card that we found this morning out on the porch.
Yes, ma'am. I was just calling you because my supervisor did the review on my case, and I said, I didn't see any marks on little man or anything. But we still have to do a safety assessment of the home, so I was calling to see if I could set up a time to come out and see you and the kids one more time so I can close my case.
Unless you have a warrant, I'm not going through this again with my children. I've had my privacy invaded. I have children that are having nightmares now. This is the second morning in a row that I've had a child crying, waking up, afraid that the cops were coming to get people. If they want to just close it,
Well,
that's fine.
Here's the thing. If you make me go get a warrant to come in the house, the cops are going to come with me again, and it's going to traumatize me even more.
And that would be on you, because you're admitting by stating that you understand it would be further traumatizing to the child.
No, my job is to assess child safety and make sure that everything's okay. And when we have parents that aren't going to let us in the homes, and they're concerned that there's something in there that you don't want us to see.
No, I just have a right, and I prefer to have my rights have already been violated quite enough. I've already filed with Panama City Police Department.
I left a card on the door so you would call me so we could set up a time. Everybody else that's been with DCF that's come to your house does that. I did the same thing. I'm trying to be very cooperative and work on your standards and do what you're asking. But if you're not going to cooperate, then I'm telling you that's what I am going to have to do.
Well, then please.
I want to be able to set up a time with you so that gives you time to do whatever you need to do. Whatever's there. I think that, this is kind of not even what I'm supposed to do, because I'm giving you a chance to clean up if that is a problem in your house. I can come out there.
You're making assumptions.
Okay.
You're making assumptions about my home, as well as making judgments.
What do you expect me to do when you won't let me in there?
I understand that people have rights, and they don't particularly care to have someone violating their rights by trampling through their home.
I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the children.
Yes, and my children are my primary concern, and you have already admitted that you understand that if you get a warrant, you will be further traumatizing my children.
I just restated what you just said.
No, you did not. You said, and ma'am, I haven't.
Okay. Listen, I'm not wasting my time. I'm going to argue with you. I'll go get the court order, and I will see you later if that's what's going to have to happen.
Then enjoy getting your court order, and I will probably have this on tonight's news, as I've already filed charges and already placed it with the media. But you're verbally admitting on the record that you know. Yes, it's on the record.
What record?
I've already told you I was a journalist and I record everything. I stated that on record at the very beginning. And when I told you that my children were already traumatized by what had occurred.
That's a violation of my rights for you recording me without.
No, it's not actually. Legally speaking, it's admissible even in court.
I'm not going to have you trying to throw out legal terms that you think you know with me.
My best.
I'm going to go do what I have to do, and if it constitutes me having to remove your children for their safety because you are denying access to the home for me to assess child safety.
It's not denying. There's a thing called due process. There's a thing called due process. You already admitted there are no marks on my children.
Once again,
and my
because you think you know at me. Whenever I have a job to do, I've been very cooperative with you. I left a card on your door so I can come set up a time so I can close this case. You are making a mountain out of a molehill.
No, okay? I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I feel that my rights are very important to me. And no, they're not legal terms that just I know. I'm part of the state political party. My best friend's an attorney.
Okay.
These are things that I have, these are things...
Go ahead and call them and let them know that you might need one.
Well...
Because I am going to, if it takes me getting a court order and having to file...
Then you need to...
Then I'm going to do it, that's fine. So we have nothing else to talk about because you've already told me that you're not going to cooperate.
No, you need to call and get my attorney's information after you have the court order, and then you and the attorney...
I don't need your attorney's information because I'm going to go get the court order and I'm going to call the cops and I'm going to come show you the court order. And that's going to be the end of it.
And what precisely?
I understand you have a job to do as a mother to protect your children, but I have a job as a child protection investigator to make sure that their safety is okay.
And you have already. You have already seen my children. You've already seen there are no marks. My children were at the doctor yesterday as well as today because we have a stomach bug. There's one that's going around town. I had the younger two there yesterday specifically for the purpose so that when I chose to, I can get the record from my doctor. No, I'm not. But if you would like, I can go by and get a statement from my doctor and we'll provide that.
I don't care about the doctor. I don't need a statement from the doctor. I need to be able to assist child safety in their house where they live every day, not from a doctor that they see every now and then.
The allegation had nothing to do with it. What exactly are you trying?
The allegations, you would call me on enough for me to go over all of them with you. It said that the child fell out of the truck, that had a mark on his head, and that the family was hoarders. And that there was stuff in the house and on the outside of the house that makes it appear that y'all are hoarders and you don't clean up.
Okay, well we just had a thing, in fact, when my ex-husband tried to kill me. No. Yes, Kay was a very nice woman. She was very helpful and she very much did understand what it was like having someone try and kill you.
I let her in the house because she showed up at the house. I read her notes. She showed up at the house. She told her that the kids weren't there, so she came back, which gave you time to do whatever you needed to do, which is what I was trying to do, give you time to do whatever you needed to do. I'm trying to set up an appointment with you so I can close this case. And you are making a mountain out of a molehill. I do the exact data. She's right across the hall from me. I mean, I do the exact same thing she does. And I tried to tell you the only reason the cops came with me the last time was because the nature of the is for my safety.
Okay, well, answer some questions then in the first place. Where did the call come from? Did it come to DCF or did it come to the police department?
It went to the Florida Abuse Hotline.
Alright. Second question. Why were there 7 cops, especially when there is no record at the police department of any of them being there? I was there yesterday, and they stated on record.
I don't work for the Panama City Police Department, so I can't answer that question for you. I do not have.
And
I work for the Florida Department of Children and Families, and I don't know.
Alright, I would like to know then, who's making allegations of guns in the home? That was already cleared up last year. If I wanted a gun, I had a concealed weapon permit. I let it go. That would be my personal right. But, no, you're sitting there making their accusations, sitting there being made at me of allegations of guns in the home. That's why they're there. Now, any other visit, there might have been guns in the home. But they never felt to bring along 6 different police officers with them.
The fact that we had an allegation, you're totally missing it. You're totally missing it. The entire reason we came there is because the allegation said you never even never even let me read this to you because you were too busy reading and writing it as cops.
Yes, because that is after being physically assaulted by that man? Yes, I was. That man was pinching my breast.
Are you going to let me talk?
Yes, I'd love to hear these allegations. This sounds...
Okay. On 1/10/11, Dad said, God damn it, get out of the truck. And then Dad physically threw the youngest child out of the truck. The child was screaming bloody murder. The child might have an injury to the head from being thrown out of the truck. The family hoards things, and there are a lot of toys and junk in the yard.
But my husband never said anything to him. I told my oldest son...
We're totally past that. We've already nobody addressed that. I'm telling you what.
But these are malicious. These are intentionally malicious. These are intentionally malicious.
This is somebody who had a legitimate concern and made a call to the Florida Abuse Hotline. We went out there. We saw the kids were fine. Everything's fine. They're
okay.
Whatever. But
this allegation.
Just like Kay did, part of her investigation. I know she didn't walk through your house. I read all of her notes. That's all I need to do to be able to close this. Now we can do this the voluntary way, or we can do it the court order way. I mean, and it's just taking it. You're just taking it to a totally different extreme. I did the exact same job she does. I'm here.
And at that point, I had not.
Any kind of services or anything. That's what I'm here for, to make the referrals, to help you do that. That's fine. We are past the cops. We're past everything. The whole reason the cops came with me is due to the nature of the allegations. If there was a small child in that house that had an injury to the head and nobody had assessed it and taken him to the hospital or the doctor or where he needed to go, the cops were there for me to help me get him there.
And they would wait.
Maybe it's because there was not 7, there was only 4. Maybe it's because you came out of the house screaming and hollering, and your husband was screaming and hollering, and nobody answered the door when we didn't knock it for 10 minutes. Maybe that's why there were so many cops, but we're over that. We're past that. All DCF is here for is to help and make sure that child safety is ensured in your home.
Where?
And I can tell that they were okay, they were fine, but now to complete my job and to complete my investigation, I need to do the walkthrough of the house.
Under statute 39, since it's already proven that none of the children have a head injury, I can get the doctor to vouch for this.
I wouldn't know because I don't have all these information, so
no, but as I offered, I will go by and get him to write it out for you, because I have 2 pukers right now.
You're not understanding me. You're not understanding. I don't need to know that. I saw that he was okay for myself.
Okay, then as if you're under...
the walkthrough of your home and make sure the kids have a place to sleep, make sure that they've got enough food in the house, make sure there's no environmental hazards in the home, and to make sure that y'all don't need any other services, any help with anything else.
There's still 2 things. There's still 2 things that are...
Whenever I do that, then I will close my case. But until then, the longer you make my case stay open, the longer DCS and the cops are involved in your life.
You're not answering 2 things. Where does an allegation of a gun come from? That wasn't in that you just read off. So where's the allegation of a gun come from?
It was in the narrative, in the reporter narrative, and we came from the reporter information by Florida state law.
Okay, then what does the narrative state exactly? I have the right to know that without knowing.
It said that there were safety concerns for the investigator due to possible guns in the home. They do ask the reporter if there's any worker safety concerns. And they said yes, possible guns in the home.
Well, I find it interesting, and I do find it to be malicious, considering the fact that my cousin...
Whenever the case is closed, then you can file for malicious false reporting. But
I very much intend to. I also need to point out... I also need to point out that my cousin, who's been staying with me recently, has been in a nasty custody fight. She's already gotten him for violating a court order. His girlfriend has a best friend in DCF who I personally heard make threats about what they can do. And they have pulled information out of my prior DCF abuse files, which were all unfounded. So how do I know that you're not connected to them?
Oh my God.
No, I would like, yes, actually I am, because I personally had these threats. I have other people that can verify the threats that we've had. My phone died. Told you I needed the charger. Go get the charger. Quickly. Just leave the camera. Go get the charger. Hurry up. think I got it on that fact sheet.
I'll be right back.
Well, I need you to plug this in. I can't reach it. Quickly. The fact that she admitted that it will further traumatize the children by doing this, and that they already established that what was claimed is false. Is it plugged in?
No.
Well, go quick. I know you're trying. Investigator concern. I'm back to thinking about street quarters. This is somebody. This is Mark. It's got to be Mark. You need to tell Tabitha she needs to come here. No, I bet anything that's where that came from. Come on, power off. Power on. Hello?
Yeah, this is the guy went out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was in the middle of arguing with the DCF investigator at the time when you called. I've got kind of a long, convoluted story that goes from. I'm sorry, but there's corruption on a few levels with this, and with you being FDLE, and I knew Brad in school, so I figured I'd call you. I called Billy Rader and talked to him too. Somebody had called and claimed that they had, my husband threw my son out of the truck. Actually, my 4-year-old opened the door and the boy fell out, the younger one fell out, hit his knee. But I wound up with, I live in the Cove, in the old Cove. There were cops all the way up to Cherry Street Elementary. I had 6 of them sitting in my yard. And when I asked them, you know, what on earth? Why does this look like a drug bust? And I get nothing. I was sexually assaulted by one officer. He ignored. I tried to explain, you know, I'm autistic. I do have ADA rights. Please do not touch me. Yes, I do get. I was very hyper when I come out and there's cops all over, and someone making false accusations. I went and filed down at the police department the formal complaint because his supervisor just flat out would not let me file. Would not even file a report. I found out yesterday that PCPD, the officers that were there, not a single one of them filed a report on what they were doing here or why they were here.
Did you tell the police chief?
That I've tried that. They refused anything. I got one sergeant who was very nasty about it. Excuse me, a lieutenant. Because I am by nature, I'm a journalist. This will already NOB in the county press because I've already gotten off the phone with him. But I have it all recorded. And they flat out admitted that there is no report on why the officers were there. I have the DCF worker. I'm sorry, but you can see my child's fine, that the report's false. And the first thing that I get, for once I'm exercising my rights. Unless you have a warrant, you're not going to go traipsing through my house, traumatizing my children more. My kids are having nightmares as is. It's the second morning in a row that the youngest is woke up screaming about the cops. They are not sleeping. And then this woman's telling me on the phone from DCF, I just got off the phone with her, recorded, stating that she flat out, you know, I told her, this has already traumatized them. Well, if you refuse to let me in, I'll just get a warrant and it'll just traumatize them further. All of this is unreal. I mean, having my breasts manhandled by an officer and being pinched and manipulated.
I'm over here on Trace Road. I've got one of the back roads with the traffic. Eva, is that your name?
Yeah, Geneva.
Geneva. You know, I suggest you call the police chief and request to have a meeting with him and you know, air your complaint with him.
If I could have gotten a hold of him, I would have, and I could not get. I left all the information, and nobody up front wanted to do anything whatsoever other than take the initial complaint.
Did you try to call his office?
Yeah, I was even up there. They just, I asked about it, and the one guy was very snippy. Well, you can just make an appointment. He may or may not see you.
Well, if you call his office, just leave a message for him to call you. I'm sure he'll give you a call back. I don't know what to tell you else to do.
Well, that's a gross waste of funds when you have 6 cars sitting up here. There were 4 or 5 in video in my yard standing around. Well, even when we tell them, you know, the children are autistic, can y'all please back off so they don't freak out? They didn't do anything. One of my boys started to run. But this is this is how government funds are supposed to be spent.
Well, I can't vouch for that. I don't work for the city. I work for the county.
That's true, but you did work FDLE, and I do know I did have a disagreement with a PCPD officer the other day over his dog falling out of the back of his truck. And my cousin's been staying with me. Her daughter's father has temporary custody, and they have threatened stuff like this before. I have physically been there when they called friends in the police department and in DCF. So there's just too many things
I don't mean to cut you short.
You're busy.
I got a bunch waiting for me to take me on a tour here, a bunch of people.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I don't know what to tell you to do. I mean, I certainly have no control over that. I'm more moving law enforcement anymore. And the only thing I can suggest to you is that you call City Police Chief Natalie and leave a message and ask him to call you back, or talk to his secretary and ask if you can have an appointment to meet with him. Surely, I mean, if that doesn't work, then I suggest you call the city manager or go see the city manager. Ken Hammond down at Panama City.
Ken Hammond. Yes, I know him. All right. I'm familiar. I know him actually kind of well. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry I can't help you, but I don't have the authority with that.
No, that's fine. You pointed me over. I'd forgotten about Ken being over there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good luck to you.
You too.
Sorry you had such a mess.
So am I. Thank you. You're still a dickhead. Let's call her back. It's going to be Mark.
Jen. You do not know that guy in that truck was a cop. You cannot state that.
No, I'm making a conjecture, but I have the right to make a conjecture. But as I said, all I said was that I had that. Now,
you stated flat out that he was a cop.
Yeah, but I have the right to conjecture.
You didn't state it as an opinion, you stated it as a fact.
Yeah, well, I don't see him quoting me.
That's slander.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice.
What did she say? What happened when you talked to her?
The allegation came in that the boy